first of its name podcast based on the HBO series Game of Thrones. I am one of your co-hosts, Sheldon Calhoun, aka Lord Sheldon.
And I am one of your co-hosts, Antonio Scott, aka Sir Tone Roy.
Yes, sir. And right now, I'm gonna give you a recap of our last episode that we did, episode 6, a Golden Crown. This is just a recap of what happened. Ned makes a controversial decree, which was I explained it a little bit more. He pretty much sent the. What did he do? He sent
He
a
sent the
command.
decree, a raven out to the Lannisters.
To Tywin Lannister specifically, telling him to come to the King's Landing or be crowned, or be named enemy of the crown. I'm sorry. Tyrion confesses to his crimes, and Viserys receives his final payment when he got that golden crown.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that was a good episode, brother.
Absolutely.
That was a real good episode.
And right now we're gonna get into episode 7 of season 1, which is titled "You Win or You Die." Would you like to, start it off for us, Sir Tone Roy?
Yes, sir. We can definitely do that. We open with Jaime Lannister and Tywin Lannister. I'm disconnected with where they were at the time, but they were at a war camp in which they were traveling along the different cities and towns of Westeros and taking control and fighting. And Jaime Lannister reads a decree from Ned Stark, standing as the protector of the realm, and he was calling for them to
come and answer the crimes.
Come and answer to their crimes of their bannermen, which included the crimes that the Mountain did. The man that
in the Riverlands.
And in the Riverlands, it was specific to the Riverlands. A lot of killing. It was a lot more that happened, but it was based on the things that they had done up to that point that was reported back to King's Landing. Right? And
they have like a discussion. Right?
Yeah, Jaime and Tywin had a discussion, and when Jaime initially read the raven that was sent to them, the message on the parchment paper, Tywin said to him that attacking Ned Stark was a foolish decision.
It was.
Right? It was terrible judgment is what he specifically stated as it relates to his interaction with Ned Stark. And then once Jaime spoke on what happened, Tywin said to him, "Why is Ned Stark still alive?" And to me, that leads to of course, the future judgments of Ned Stark because of the mentality that the Lannister house has. Jaime initially didn't have it though, because what did he tell his father?
He said,
why didn't he die that day?
It wouldn't have been clean. One of their men interfered.
Wouldn't have been clean. One of their men attacked him from behind and stabbed him in the leg, and it wouldn't have been clean for Jaime, in his opinion, even as the Kingslayer, right? And that's what Tywin brings up to him in that moment, in that conversation, is Jaime's decision not to eliminate, deal with, or kill Ned Stark in that moment, even after he was stabbed in the leg.
It proves that Jaime cares what people thinks about him.
There we go. And your memory is absolutely wonderful. What was the quote that Tywin gave Jaime?
Oh, he told him Lannisters don't act like fools. And he also told him, this was the first time we heard this quote, if I'm not mistaken. A lion, he said, a lion never no. What did he say? Don't get
you got it. Take your time. Take time.
I know it.
Take your time. A lion doesn't
concern themselves with the opinions of the sheep.
There we go. Hey, I know you knew it. I think
Yeah.
you knew it. It was just we
I just
live right
couldn't
now.
think of it at the time. I'm
In
like,
the moment.
yeah.
You got it right. A lion does not concern himself with the opinion of sheep.
Hmm.
And to be honest, Tywin is and Jamie are having this conversation while Tywin is skinning and gutting a deer, brother.
Yeah, no, that's a real deer too. That was they said that was a real deer that Charles Dance, who plays Tywin Lannister, they said they wanted it to be like as authentic as possible. So they decided to get him to skin a real deer.
And even more to that point of it being a real deer, that deer was less than 12 hours dead.
Wow, I didn't know
So
that.
they had a what you would consider a fresh deer. It was hunted.
Yeah.
It was hunted with respect. It was hunted properly, and the usage of that deer led to that scene. The gutting and the skinning that would have happened anyway
Hmm.
with a deer a hunter somewhere off that nobody knows for it to happen under the lights and the cameras of this particular series was cool to me. It was just cool that he did it. He literally cut, shaved, skinned, gutted the deer
Yeah, he
along the lines
did the
of
whole ritual of a hunter, if you will. If you know what I'm saying, at least the skinning part. That was nice to see. Uh, but I feel like them having that discussion was important because Tywin mentioned something to Jamie Lannister. He said he brought up their whole family, him, Tyrion, Cersei, even Jamie, all of her kids. At some point, all of them gonna be, gone from this world, and the only thing that lives on is the family name. So he said he needs Jamie to become the man he always wanted him to be, or he always was meant to be. Whatever that means, which we'll find out sooner or later.
well that was the thing that to me that resonated a lot in that scene because it was all about Tywin letting Jamie know um the understanding of what he was expected to do.
Yeah,
Jamie
no,
in that moment, I think Jamie still thought that what he wanted, what Jamie wanted as an individual Lannister mattered. But this was one of the first scenes, if not the first scene, between Tywin and Jamie, where
it was
he
that was
he
the
he let him know you will do what the house needs, what the family needs, what the lineage needs, versus what Jamie Lannister wants to do.
that was the first time we met Tywin Lannister within the Game of Thrones series. That was his first scene, and yeah, he was explaining to him the importance of family because he was like explaining like we could establish a dynasty that could last 1,000 years, or we could crumble into nothing as the Targaryens did, and they get brought up a lot in
Oh
this
wow!
episode too.
Thank you. I was just waiting for my opportunity to bring up his comparison to the fall of the Targaryens
Hmm.
and the 1,000 year, the millennia. He wanted the millennia of Lannisters to to fight and rule, but he didn't want to lose that based on what we already knew, what he already knew as the fate of the Lannisters.
Hmm.
That's so dope that you brought that up. Hey, that was good because he ended that scene really well with that, and
Hmm.
that was towards the end of that scene with the most significant words being spoke. Right?
That's the whole like point of that scene, letting him know like, man, we gotta. This is we on our way to war right now. We could be gone, or at this point, we could be, you know, skyrocketed into a dynasty. So it's up to you, son. That's pretty much what he did. So
Well, I
next,
think I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I don't think it was just a dynasty. I think it was to be a better dynasty specifically than the Targaryens because he named the
yeah, yeah,
Targaryens in
yeah,
that scene, right?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Of course,
definitely.
to be a better one, because as he mentioned, the Targaryens crumbled into nothing. Like
There we
it's
go.
it's
There
only
we
one
go.
left in the cup.
Specifically to his opinion of how that turned out versus what he presumed or projected his house to be, right?
Exactly, exactly.
And then the next scene is back at King's Landing. Cersei and this is a good one. Cersei and Ned speak in the garden, right?
Yeah, they have a discussion.
And the Cersei does her normal thing where she comes to someone and she tries to placate them, and you're injured and you're too far south from the north, right? What did she
Mm-hmm.
say?
She said the South doesn't agree with you that well, or
The
something like
South
that.
doesn't agree with you that well. There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Exactly. And Ned didn't hold any punches in that moment. He didn't do the banter. He didn't do the back and forth. As soon as she said something and she stopped speaking, his
yeah.
first his first sentence was, um,
If
"Oh
I'm
my
not
goodness."
if I'm not
She
mistaken,
calls, yeah, as she speaks. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, I think he asked her, has he ever done this before?
That's the first thing that pops up. There we
That's the
go.
first thing
You're
he
right.
say to her, and then she said something about like, no, Jamie would have killed him. My brother is 10 times more than the man you ever, more than the man, more of a man than your friend ever was. And she said, or Ned responds with, your brother or your lover, and then
There we go.
that's when we get into the nitty gritty of the scene right there.
That's when in that same scene that you brought up, he brings up the incest, and she brings up the Targaryen
Hmm.
model of the way they did things, which is to
They used to wed
technically
brother and sister
wed incest to increase the
to
strength
keep
of the
the
bloodline,
bloodline pure, if you
the
will.
bloodline pure. But Ned spoke to that entire conversation as it relates to John. This is what John Aaron died for.
Hmm.
This thing that
He
I'm
said
bringing
he
to
knew the
you.
truth that John Aaron died for. That's what he
He
said
knew the
to her.
truth. There you go. Exactly. I was getting right there to it. And again, bringing up the fact that Jamie was the father of her children.
Hmm.
And it
Joffrey,
was
Tommen, and Marcella.
that was directly related to um, the challenge that he had for her children as in the succession to the throne.
Hmm. Hmm. And I also feel like that specific conversation was so important because by him revealing to Cersei that now that Robert knows, she now knows that she's no longer safe. At that point, she knows that Robert. We all know what Robert is capable of doing if he find out that she was cheating on him this whole time and those not his real sons. So he tells her like, man, go pack up your stuff, go get your kids, take them to a safe place because wherever you go, Robert going his wrath will follow you. It's pretty much what he explained to her, and that's when we hear the famous words from her where she says something like, "And what of my wrath, Lord Stark?" And then, oh, actually,
Not
she revealed to him that she knows what happened on the day King's Landing fell during Robert's rebellion. And she said that
right.
she know that Ned Stark gave up the Iron Throne, which was a sad mistake that he made. He made Jamie Lannister get off the Iron Throne, and he told her that wasn't a mistake. But I want you to tell him what she said, the most famous lines in the show.
What I will I'll take it back a little bit before she mentioned Jamie being on the throne and Ned removing him from the throne and her telling Ned you should have taken the throne.
Mm-hmm.
Before it got to that moment, remember there was a certain point in that conversation where, as they spoke about King Robert, she spoke on
Oh yeah,
wanting
yeah,
understanding who King Robert was at the time and
yeah,
looking at him and admiring him. And when they had their first night together, she said that he was drunk and bumbling, stumbling, fumbling,
yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
he called her Liana
Which
that
was
first night,
yeah,
and
yeah.
she thought in her head, he's in love with a corpse, but I'm a living girl. I'll
Mm-hmm.
never be able to reach that level with him. And that I think that change. We never saw that Cersei,
Yeah,
right?
the one
In
that's
the
like
series,
deeply in love with Robert.
deeply, truly in love with Robert in a la Sansa and Joffrey.
Right.
I
Exactly.
think it was similar, but it was different because Sansa was around when there was a King Robert as well as a prince soon to be one day be King Joffrey.
Yeah.
And Sansa took that mentality and dove and jumped into it because of Ned Stark, her father, her mother. They declared that for her. Similar to a Tywin Lannister declaring that for Cersei.
Right.
So at some point, Cersei was a Sansa.
Yeah, for Robert, for
If you
sure.
if you really look at it, right, Cersei was a Sansa type, enamored with, in love with, and she just wants to give him this, right? And then she pointed out that the first night they laid together was horrible, and that is what triggered or allowed her actions in her mind to lead to having 3 kids with her own twin brother.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that was key. And then as you move forward, Cersei brings up um how she finished him in other ways.
Yeah.
The way she said that let me believe that it shouldn't be if King Robert was sober enough over the years, he would have and should have known that there's no way that he impregnated this woman
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
once, let alone 3 different times with
But no,
three
but
golden
you
bear
got to think
children.
about it. You got to think about it too, though. They did have a stillborn baby. Remember they discussed it in the episode where
That was
so
before her and Jamie started what they had going on.
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
they was really specific. I think the way we just brought up how enamored and in love Cersei was with Robert in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
she was not messing around with Jamie at that time. There's no way that she could have because of what she said herself. She was in love with him. She looked at him the way Sansa looked at Joffrey.
Right.
Sansa would have never fucked around with John or Rob or Bran or Rickon on some in love shit the way Cersei and Jamie did, right?
Of course. No, hell no. I mean,
So
that's
that would
not the
have
way that.
affected
Yeah.
that would have affected how ultimately Cersei, as she went through her journey and decided, I mean, her deciding to have sex with Jamie and ultimately make all these kids over all these 17 years, that didn't start. That's not the way it started. Cersei and Jamie weren't boning when Cersei married Robert, right?
That's true. I mean,
I think they had a weird ass connection, but they weren't boning like boning for real to make
that's something
babies
that I
yet.
would have to look up too, man. I would want to see that. Like, how long was that going on for? You know what I'm saying? Because they was together
Okay,
since
answer this question for me. Do you think Cersei and Jamie started boning,
I don't know.
which
I don't
led
know.
to hold on? Do you think they started boning, which led to all 3 of their kids' births before or after Cersei married Robert?
It had to be after. Well, I mean, the
Okay.
kid, of course, the kids had to come after because where the fuck else they coming from?
Now Joffrey was turning 18 when the Game of Thrones started, bro. So that means it was close. It was
No, he
close.
wasn't. He wasn't that old. He wasn't that old because
16 going on
him,
17, maybe.
him and Sansa was around the same age.
Oh, so that means Sansa was like 14 when the series
Sansa
started.
was 14. Because I
Okay.
remember when Tyrion and Bronn was discussing how old she is, and she was only 14, and she said it herself when he asked her on their
That was
wedding
the
night.
time, yeah. That was when she was with Joffrey and then the
On
mountain
their wedding
or
night.
the hound. Oh no. Okay, I got you. I got you. You're referring to that specific scene when they referred to, but I'm thinking of around the same time as when the hound saved her from
Saved her
being,
life. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
From the
little
mob.
bird, yeah,
That's
it
it.
was
Yeah,
close enough.
little my little bird. Hey, I love when he say that, man. My little dove or my little bird.
Especially all those years later, a year, 2 years later,
Yeah,
when they were at
yeah. When they
Winterfell.
at the yeah. Hey man, you know
Yeah,
what, man? We gotta save all this for the
we got to
spoiler
say
section,
that
man. Oh,
we
we gotta
go
save this for the
ahead.
spoiler section.
I didn't highlighter a lot. I usually use my highlighter for my notes so it let me see steps and shit. So I'm trying to reconnect to where we left off. Okay.
The next thing we see, the next scene, if I'm not mistaken, we see Littlefinger in his establishment with a couple of his employees, and he has them act out so they can, so he can teach them to, act better. He
Oh,
little
wait. We missed it. We talked about it in the green room. Technically, audience, for the people of the audience that don't know, when we go into the software, we got a green room, which is like pregame or, but we missed it, bro. Hold on. The what's the title of the show?
Yeah, we got past that.
Yeah, there we go. We own it,
Yeah,
black man. We got it.
yeah,
We go. What was
yeah.
we go rewind, and I'm pitching it to you, and then you swinging. After Ned and Cersei, or during Ned and Cersei's conversation, in which Cersei was referring to Lyanna Stark as a corpse, and she was a living girl trying to get King Robert's love and affection. Ned advises her that he will tell King Robert, and she needed to take her children and get to safety, or see the king's King Robert's wrath. After that, what did Cersei say? If you wouldn't mind taking over.
They discuss a little bit about Jaime Lannister at King's Landing, and when he took the throne. Oh, I'm sorry, when he killed Aerys Targaryen, and Ned Stark found him on the Iron Throne and made him give up the seat. And she told him, "You should have took the realm for yourself. That was a sad mistake." And Ned Stark told her, I made many mistakes in my life, but that wasn't one of them." But then she told him, but it was, Lord Stark. See, when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
Ooh, that's pause. Pause. Stop right there. Not the other type of pause that Cameron and
Of
Mace be
course.
talking about and G
But
Dot be
that was,
talking about.
come on, man.
Hey,
That's the
hey,
coldest quote in them. Come on, man.
up to that point, and even after that point for seasons, that was the coldest thing that a lot of people
You
didn't see. We
and
have to
look,
tell them.
people, if I'm not mistaken, man, that if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section if y'all can. We don't we accept all correctness. You know what I'm saying? We're not perfect.
Every day, all day.
So listen, if I'm not mistaken, that is the only time throughout the whole Game of Thrones series that we hear the words Game of Thrones
In action as it's being spoken by one of the characters. That was the
That's
only time that we've ever heard
if I'm
the
not
Game
mistaken.
of Thrones.
Correct us if we're wrong, but we believe that was the only time that those words were ever uttered from any person on the show.
Do your due diligence. We are officially in episode 7 of our podcast, right? And we are going to do every episode. So we'll get to at least 72. What is it, 73, 72?
It's something
Right?
like that.
We're gonna get there. So if you have any thoughts, or if you found something to figure, or if it slipped through the cracks and we didn't catch it, feel free. Feel
Please.
free. Much obliged. Feel much obliged to tell us we're wrong, because that's partly what we're here for. But again, when you play the Game of Thrones,
You win or you die. Simple
that
as that.
is, it almost gave me chills. I'm sure it gave me chills. If it wasn't the first time I heard it, because the first time I heard it, I probably didn't recognize it and understand it. But as I went back and reviewed and watched it again, the second, third, fifth, every single time now that I hear it, eighth time, it means something, because I know what's coming down the road, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a wonderful scene. You know,
Yeah, with her and Ned.
Lena
Absolutely.
Headley and Sean Bean, man, they really good at what they do,
Oh,
and
absolutely,
they
man.
did their thing.
Lena
Lena
Headey,
Headey
this
being
ain't her
Queen
first rodeo,
Cersei
man. You know what I'm
is
saying?
not, no way. It wasn't
You
the
know what I
last
mean?
neither. Even after this, we've seen some great
No,
work
not
from
at
her,
all.
and we
Not at
appreciate
all.
her. And Sean Bean and his talents,
You know,
he's been
she
all over the
this
earth.
you know, she was the queen in 300. You dig?
Yes, yes. And she was shout out to Sarah Connor and the Sarah Connor Chronicles Terminator,
Yeah.
John Connor's mama. Like, and she
Okay.
did her damn thing.
No doubt.
I don't know
No
if you
doubt.
don't remember that. You don't recall it. It's okay. They canceled it.
I
Fox.
ain't seen it. I ain't gonna sit here and hold you.
It was a two and a half, maybe two, 3 seasons or 2 full seasons. To me, it was at an apex. It was at a point where they should have understood the story and the audience and only cared, not only with the market and advertising, they make money. I think it was one of those things. Fox, NBC, CBS, ABC, they've canceled 4 million people a week watch this show, but because
Mm-hmm.
it's not 5 million people a week or 5 million households a week, they'll cancel it.
Right.
I've been there. The event, fast forward or flash forward. Anybody that know what I'm talking about, the event with Blair Underwood, flash forward, the missing with Ashley Judd. It's so many. I can go on and on if I have my booklet in front of me. It's so many series that they've done that with, and Sarah Connor Chronicles was one. I may cut this out because I'm just rambling, and we'll
Oh no,
see.
it's cool. It's cool.
I just realized that we weren't just talking like as if we do when we on the phone.
In the green room.
Yeah, in the green room or something. We got a point of all this, right? Okay.
Okay.
Um, Again, I want to point out the fact that Cersei spoke about her and King Robert having sexual interactions, and Cersei understanding that King Robert called her Lyanna the first time they ever had sex,
Mm-hmm.
right? So she knew that, and that's what led to her thoughts of going outside of their marriage.
And if I'm
Ned advises Queen Cersei. That's where he advises her to take her children and get to safety or meet the king's wrath, because when King Robert comes back from his hunts, he was going to advise him, and from there wouldn't be good for her and her children if King Robert ever found out the truth.
yeah, it would have been a wrap.
And
Definitely.
then you brought up Cersei bringing up the day King's Landing falling, and with King Aerys, and that changed everyone's life. She mentioned that changed everyone's life from that moment forward. And then back at Littlefinger's brothel is the next scene where
Mm-hmm.
Roz and a young lady are doing the scissor action. They doing the LGBT thing.
Yeah, and
Uh,
they being obnoxious with the screams, with the loudness of how they yelling with each other, the
yeah,
moans and all of that
their
kind of stuff.
portrayal, the moans. You're right, the moans, the portrayal of the pleasure annoyed Littlefinger, and he told them that men are paying for you to be real, but they know you're not real, so
Right.
you need to talk them and trick them into
And to thinking you real.
believing that you're real, and what they know is real doesn't exist. That's the
Exactly.
whole goal.
So he pretty
And
much trying to teach them how to be better actors. Is what he teaching? He giving an acting class, if you will.
right. He tells
um,
them that it's all an act. You just have to tell the basically the trick, right? The modern version of this term. You have to talk the trick and the thinking that or make them forget the truth. So they
exactly.
know you're a 304, a whore, whatever it is. They know you're that. Your job is to trick them or talk them into believing something other than that.
Exactly. And then we have from there, they asked Littlefinger to join in, which he then tells them he's saving himself for another. And he says that
Oh well, who what other would that be?
he says that simply because well, he explains them like a little story. He get him like a whole background on who this person was. Like this person was like a confidant for him when he was a young boy because Littlefinger grew up in a place called the Fingers where it's not like a super noble house, but he was around noble
Not
people.
noble, no highborn,
You know what I'm
right?
saying? But he
Exactly.
was around noble people, such as the young lady such as the lady we talking about. He said this person was his confidant, and da 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 da. But she was betrothed to another, who he ultimately challenged to a duel, and within that duel, he ended up losing, and the girl who he was in love with, who was his confidant at the time, she came over to his aid and told the boy not to kill him, and so she knew it was he knew that it was some affection there, so he wanted to take that a step further, but then he told her that the boy who she was betrothed to ended up dying, but she ended up marrying his younger brother, so he still had no chance. And this person who we talking about is none other than Catelyn Stark. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So he explains to
Who
them that
was
he's saving
who
himself
was the
for another.
man? Who was the individual that he battled against the first time?
Ned Stark's older brother, Brandon Stark,
Brandon
who
Stark,
who we learned was killed by the Mad King.
by the Mad King as well as the Father Cregan, exactly right. But it wasn't just that because she initially inherited. She was Ned inherited her technically, right?
Yeah, no, he definitely. They wasn't betrothed to one another. Once Brandon died, Ned was next in line to be the Lord of Winterfell. So
That's why I brought up
that's
inherited. It was kind of like
yeah,
it was passed along to that wedship or courtship or
exactly.
connection was connected through one house and another house, to House Tully and House Stark, regardless if it was
Just
going to
like
be
how,
Bran.
exactly, or Rickon. But
But you was going to say just like what?
I was gonna say just like how we learned that Cersei was betrothed to Robert, and
Ah,
if Robert would have died, then she'd probably had to marry Stannis.
yeah, okay. And I think did we see that? Did we hear about that this past episode?
What's that?
The observation that if Robert would have died during the
No. I only said
it was
that to
that
make
was just your understanding of it.
to make a comparison of what Ned and Catelyn went through.
Okay, got you. That's what Littlefinger Peter Baelish was speaking on to Roz and other
Yep,
young lady during that scene, right?
exactly.
But I want to point out again during that scene, Peter Baelish Littlefinger stated that what did he say? He learned that he
Ah,
never
yeah,
get
yeah,
to the
yeah, yeah,
top by
yeah.
playing to according to their rules.
This was very important in that scene. Very
Yeah. So
important
what did
from
he
him.
say? He said, "I'm going to win by fucking them."
Yeah, yeah.
He
He
said
said
that plainly.
I won't fight them. That's their game. I'm not gonna fight them. I'm gonna fuck them. That's my game. That's what I know.
That's how he felt he would win, and
Yeah.
that was significant based on 12 different moves as he's gonna make throughout the next
And that was
freaking
significant to the
65
story.
episodes.
And that was significant to what he just literally said right before he said that.
True,
You know?
true, because he didn't necessarily contradict himself, but as he went through the story and built himself. And when he looked back at who he used to be, what he was, and what he is now, there was a multiple different reactions of his words and his thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Like the current Littlefinger understood what it was in the world he lived in, and then the Littlefinger we saw in the moment flashing back to the old Littlefinger, and then the younger Littlefinger was more of a resentment, was an understanding of he wasn't close to highborn. He fell in love with a highborn woman, at least based on their region,
Mm-hmm.
because the Tullys weren't the highest of highborns, but based on being in the north and being in their
No, the
region.
Tullys was highborns. The Tullys was highborns. The Tullys is the Lord of River Run. The Lords of River Run.
Okay, you're right. You're right. My fault. My fault. I was just trying to point out that Littlefinger technically wasn't far off from
No,
her.
not far off. Not far off,
Not
but
far. Yeah, it's
he
different than being born in the Red Keep
exactly.
versus being born and living in King's Landing.
Exactly.
There we go. That's the point that I was really trying to get us to. Man,
Riverland
we got a
versus
lot, but
King's
we
Landing.
gonna do this. I don't care if this one 2 hours. I ain't gonna lie to you. This is a good one.
We cut back from there. We cut back to Winterfell, and we got Osha and Theon talking, and he in there
Oh
just pretty
shit.
much like down talking her. He in there just like trying to make it seem as if she's like a servant of House Winterfell. You know what I mean? Just
Mm-hmm.
not showing her any type of respect, telling her
He
that
keep
what
telling
she
her that she need to call him my lord.
exactly telling her that call me my lord by my proper title and she he brings up the Iron Islands and says that I'm gonna be lord of the Iron Islands, but my father's lord of the Iron Islands right now. So she's like, okay, if your father is lord of the Iron Islands, how are you lord of the Iron Islands? He was like, I will be. So you're not a lord right now, right?
Yeah, she called it. She
So she
figured it
just
out, and she called it right in the moment. And he was
she,
just annoyed, like,
she
how do
calling
you
him
even
on
know?
his BS. She
Mm-hmm.
calling him on it. You know what I'm saying? He get mad almost to the point where he over there trying to like, I don't know, just get some free feels. I don't know what he was trying to do. But then Maester Lewin caught him. Maester
Yeah,
Lewin caught him. Walked right up in on him. Theon Greyjoy, what is you doing? This woman is our guest. He was like,
and then he
oh,
said he's
I thought she was our prisoner. And then he told his ass, well, are the two mutually exclusive in your experience?
right, which is a harken back to his actual existence in that entire environment, right? As
Exactly. Like
a slave, what you would think.
you was a prisoner as well that turned into a guest. So come
But
on, man, stop it.
O'Shea and Lewin end up talking about the long night and claims, and that's when he said to Theon that O'Shea was a guest.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what you said just now is him telling her that she's a guest and Theon challenging it, and he say, "Is she any different than you?" That's basically
Right.
what he told him,
It's
and
exactly
that's when they said the not owls and shadow cats because
night
uh,
owls and shadow cats.
night owls and shadow cats is what Osha would refer to, and Theon blew it off, and Mason Lewin wouldn't allow him
Now,
to.
by that time, Theon was gone. This was her and Lewin talking, and she was telling Lewin like, "Oh man, it's boys. It's men I know that can spit that boy out and use him as a toothpick." And he asked her, How did she come there? Why did she come there?" And she was saying like, I didn't mean to come here. She was trying to get as far south as south goes because
Mm-hmm.
it's things that sleep in the day and things that hunt in the night. And that's when he brought up, oh, what are you talking about? Owls and shadow cats? And she's like, no, I'm not talking about owls and shadow cats. And then he
And that's
said
what
that
she say. They not gone but sleeping, and they not sleeping no more.
right. He said that they've been gone for 1,000 years. He was like, no, they're not gone, old man. They just sleeping. So
There we
yeah,
go.
hell
And
yeah.
then she said they not sleeping anymore. Right.
Right.
That's what lead us back to the wall with John and John and Sam seeing the horse approach with no
Mm-hmm.
rider.
Mm-hmm.
And the wall opens up and they take the horse in the wall and they understand and they recognize that that's the horse of Benjen, right?
Yeah. They discover his Uncle Benjamin's horse, but they don't know what Uncle Benjamin is. Uh, right after that, we see Renly uh, coming to Ned covered in blood,
Mm.
telling him that Ned just that Robert just had a hunting accident. You
Yep,
know.
very significant. That was the point where everything changed in this episode. As you watch it, you feel the energy change because we had 3 or 4 different things with where they're expressing or showing life everywhere, and then all of a sudden, the main focal point is King Robert
Yeah.
because he is the king. It
Exactly.
all starts and ends with him, right?
Exactly.
And Renly tells Ned that Robert is hurt by was hurt by Boar. Cersei, Barristan Selmy, and Joffrey speak to King Robert, and King Robert expresses his thoughts about what was going to happen. And as before he got too far or too deep into speaking about true death and the way things were going to happen, and before he gave his proclamations, he dismissed Cersei, Barristan, and Joffrey,
Everybody except Ned.
except Ned Stark. And then you want to take it from there?
From there, him and King Robert is just pretty much discussing what should go on in the future. He names Ned Stark as Lord Protector of the Realm, and tells him to watch out for his son until he comes of age. But what we saw in that scene was Ned Stark was writing a letter quoting all of Robert's words. But instead of him writing down uh, uh, until my son Joffrey comes of age, he wrote down until the rightful heir comes of age.
Mm-hmm.
That was very significant in that letter. But yeah, so we just see that, and then right after he tells Ned to give me something, give me something for the pain and let me die. So Grand Mason Pycelle comes in, gives him milk of the poppy. Sir Barristan expresses his what do you what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? His remorse. He expresses his remorse and his guilt, if you will, because he said that he failed the king within that moment. So
That was his belief. Yep.
yeah, he said he failed the king, and Lord Varys uh, insinuatingly asks Sir Barristan a question about who was pouring the king this wine and who provided the king with his refreshments.
Which would lean the blame of all of that to
Uh,
land on the steps of
his squire, Lancel Lannister.
Lancel Lannister. There you go.
And he said, Lord Varys made another insinuating statement saying, "Oh, I hope the boy doesn't blame himself." You know what I'm saying? So, and
Hey, but
then
before
you
that,
see Robert. Go ahead. What you
my
gonna
fault.
say?
I didn't want to cut you off, but before that, what did Robert tell Ned about Daenerys?
Oh, right. Yeah, for sure. I'm sorry to skip over that. He had a
No,
change of
ain't no
heart about
sorry. Hey, man, we talking.
he had a change of heart about Daenerys Targaryen. Said that Lord Varys, Baelish, and Renly was all cowards for not speaking up about how they really felt. Told Ned, you was the only one that told me how you really felt, and said that if you can try to stop it. You know what I'm saying? But Lord
Right. And
Varys
at that
told her
moment, if we remember, Peter Baelish, Littlefinger, Varys,
and
Pycelle, and
Pycelle,
Renly were standing outside the king's chamber plotting
not
against that
Renly.
decision.
Renly wasn't there.
What, it wasn't Renly?
No, you right. I'm tripping. Renly was there. He was
It
still
was,
there.
yeah, no, it was Varys, Pycelle, Littlefinger, Peter Baelish, and Renly. Or
Yeah,
Littlefinger is and Peter Baelish are the same people,
yeah.
are the same individual. But yeah, they were outside the king's chamber, and then that's when Ned comes out after King Robert orders them all out. There's a conversation with King Robert and Ned, and then after during that conversation, they show Varys, Pycelle, Littlefinger, and Renly outside the king's chambers talking, and then Ned comes out and orders King of the Poppy for
Milk of the
Pycelle to
pop.
give, or Milk of the Poppy, yes, for Pycelle to give to King Robert at that point because he was at his ends, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And okay, that was when I may be confused. That's when Lancel came up as an issue towards the end of that conversation.
Yeah. And then that's when Ned told
He
Varys,
retracts the order for
yeah,
Daenerys, and then Varys say, "I'm sorry, but uh, the
it's
birds have
already
flown.
might be too late.
She may be dead already." There we go.
Exactly.
Then we go to the next scene is we're at Vice Dothrak, where Daenerys and Drogo speak in their language. They speak subtitles for this
And
scene like a
Dothrak.
OFO. They speak in the
Mm-hmm.
Dothrak, and they speak on the stallion that will mount the world. Um, as this scene progresses, he gets more and more dedicated to giving her her throne that her family was cheated of. Right?
No,
This wasn't
this
it.
no, this not this scene. This is the scene where she's trying to convince him to
Oh, taking the
get
ships over the Salt Sea.
exactly. And this
There
is
we
when
go.
he's explaining to see the Cal Drogo is already too stuck in being a Dothrakian. He says in this scene that the end of the world is where the Salt Sea lies.
Right.
So he think that where his horse can't go, there's no more for him to go. You know what I mean? And she's trying to explain to him it's a whole other
That's
side of the
when
world.
yeah, what she's requesting is illuminating or changing what he knows to be the truth. And
Exactly.
that's when he says that he speaks on the stallion that will mount the world. Oh, he doesn't think a king, he said a king doesn't need a chair to sit upon, just a
Only a horse.
horse.
Yep.
Only a horse. That's where we at. And then Jorah, Mormont, and Daenerys speak on Targaryens not necessarily being entitled to the throne initially because
Yeah.
Aegon Targaryen took the throne anyway. So it wasn't about
But
what she
hold on.
deserved or what should have come to her. It's about what someone's gonna take. So she needs to be aware that anyone could decide, like Robert Baratheon did, that they were going to usurp and just take the throne.
Did you notice though that Ser Jorah said that when Aegon Targaryen conquered the six kingdoms of Westeros, he didn't
Yes, I
mention
did.
it. You
I
notice
did.
that?
What
Okay.
was the seventh that wasn't included initially? I think it's the Iron Islands,
Nah,
but it could be the North.
nah. It's as
What
far
was it?
south as far south as south goes.
Oh, Dorne, Martell,
Yeah.
the House. Oh,
Yes, sir.
Dorne. That's what you're right. You're right. You're right. All the pages that we see on YouTube that we be talking about, they did a lot of that research based on the actual books.
Mm-hmm. Next we so they discuss uh Aegon Targaryen, it wasn't his right or nothing like that. He just came over and took it because he could. Uh
And
and
then
then
Jorah Mormont had a little kid come to him and tell him what?
told him had a royal pardon. He can go back to Westeros. His royal
Why did he
pardon
get a
was for the
royal
next.
pardon from the kingdom of or the king of Westeros?
Well, first of all, if you didn't know, Jorah Mormont was spying on Daenerys Targaryen initially when she
The
first.
entire time.
Yeah. So uh, he gets a royal pardon because he was spying on her, and now whatever spying he was doing was supposed to be done because of what we just discussed. Lord Varys sending out that hit on Daenerys, and the next thing we see is Jorah like almost spying on Daenerys himself. But what he's doing is like trying to see if this wine merchant is about to poison Daenerys or not, because he knows that he has a royal pardon. So at some point in his mind, Daenerys she must be in danger because he
I
know
think
that he
that
got
was
a
the
royal pardon
connection
now.
that he made. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right. The connection that
absolutely.
he made once he realized they gave him the pardon, and then he was weary of the wine merchant, right?
Yeah, weary of the wine merchant because he saw her. I'm sorry, he saw her and the wine merchant already discussing something, and he poured out the wine and was about to pour her another glass from another cask. So he walked over to the wine merchant, stopped him before Daenerys could drink it, and made the wine merchant, or tried to make the wine merchant drink it himself, which we then see him run off. And now we know it's poison, or he was
Right.
about to
He tried.
poison Daenerys.
He attempted to run away once he saw that he was found out
He was
about trying to
almost
poison
forced
her.
to drink it himself. Exactly.
Yep. And from there we go to the way after that we go to Ricaro, which one of my favorite characters because he became somebody else in a different series, and I know his face, but Ricaro grabs him and I'm mistaken. Nope, I'm correction. Back
No,
at
not
Cap,
way after that. That was all in the same scene.
that was in the same scene.
Yeah.
I was reading as I was thinking of the next part of that scene. But
Yeah.
before that, we back at Castle Black. and John and Sam and others, they go out. They leave the Castle Black and go out to the.
They went below.
They went
Going below
below to take the oath to become men of the Night's Watch
at the weirwood tree north of the wall.
That's the word. That's the term. Weirwood. That's the term I was
tree.
looking for. The weirwood
north
tree.
of the wall. Yeah, so they go north of the wall. Jon Snow and Samwell Tarly take their vows in front of the weirwood tree, just as Jon's uncle did at one point when he became a man of the Night's Watch. So they rose as boys. I'm sorry, they kneeled as boys and rose as men of the Night's Watch. And right after that, we see Sam discover Ghost with a torn off hand, a dismembered hand in his mouth. Brings it over. The hand looks like it's been, frozen for weeks. So, yeah, from there.
Hold on. I think you jumped a little forward, didn't you? No. Oh, you right. Because after that is where they hold on. I'm sorry, I may be confused, but John and Sam goes out to the wall before Lord Mormont gives out the assignments, right?
Yeah.
So the scene, I'm sorry, my mistake. So the scene where Ghost brings the hand to Sam and John is before they go back and find out that John isn't going to be a ranger.
Wait. Nice little.
Because my next note after.
No, you're right. Lord Commander Mormont is giving all the recruits their new duties right after.
But that was before. That was after John and Sam went out to the wall because they was the only ones that requested to go to the weirwood. Right. And then when John requested to go to the weirwood because he wanted to
do it like his uncle did.
Do it like his uncle did to the old gods, and Sam asked to join them. And then after that is when they did the assignments where Jon Snow thought he was going to be a ranger, and he realized he became the steward.
Okay. I got a little confused.
Okay, so right after they take their oaths, because they take their oath, and the men of the Night's Watch embrace them. It wasn't like how Alistair and Rast and all those guys was negative and jerks and shit, right?
Yeah, no, they was all cool. Like everybody, you seen the happiness for them. You know what I mean? You could see it in their faces that they was actually happy for them that they just became men of the Night's Watch.
It was a true brotherhood.
Exactly.
Okay, so from there, John pledges to the old god. Sam stands with John. I think it was a intricate scene or a scene that should stand alone or stand out where Pip spoke about the actual reason why he was at Castle Black.
Why he got sent to the wall,
I think that was fucked up because of some lord or some highborn person tried to make a move on him, and then he rejected, and they somehow was able to have enough power to send him to the wall and fuck his whole life up.
It was a highborn lord. That's exactly what it was. A highborn lord.
Do you think it was Loras or Renly?
That's hilarious.
They was the only two that they put in that light. That
was a good joke. That was funny.
LGB, them niggas light. You know what I'm saying? Them was the only two. Nobody else had that light on put on them.
I mean, it could have been. Well, we ain't seen him yet, so yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, we ain't talking about HOTD.
Yeah, right. No,
we ain't talking about them. We still on GOT.
All right, what we at, man? Let's get through this because I want to get to the spoiler section.
You're right. Okay, so next, Renly and Ned speak about King Robert, and Renly speaks on Cersei not caring. This is after we find out that Robert was injured and hurt and everything. Right. Renly and Ned speak on Renly suggesting that
take the kids hostage.
take the children hostage and Cersei, get the city's watch and the Knights Guard behind them, and take chance now. But Ned was speaking on who should be the rightful king.
No, see, Renly and Ned ain't bring up the city. Why Ned Renly brought up the fact that he can have 100 swords at his command within an hour, and that's when Ned responded like, "What am I gonna do with 100 swords?" He was like, "Strike while the castle is asleep. He who holds the king holds the kingdom." That's what he said to him, and then that's when Ned denied it all. He just like refused everything that he was pretty much saying. He like, "Nah, man, we ain't gonna. I will not shed
And then
blood."
who did Ned say should be the king?
Right. He said Stannis. He mentioned Stannis should be the king because if we're doing it in the order of things, that's how it's supposed to go. If we're
The
doing it
line
by
of
the
succession.
and you know the Starks has always been about honor and being loyal to their oaths. And if we're doing it like you said in the line of succession, then it's supposed to go straight to Stannis. But Renly was like,
But does it make
okay,
sense? Okay, bro. Does it? I get what you're saying, and forgive me for cutting you off. But if Ned Stark was truly about the line of succession, once he eliminated once King Aerys was eliminated, according to what Ned Stark claims his feelings should be, who should have been on that Iron Throne?
well, I mean, that couldn't happen. We're gonna talk about that in the spoiler section.
No, I'm asking, because they've already told the story on who was what and what was what so far. Who should have been if Ned Stark's goal was to remove King Aerys and he was so loyal and honorable about the line of succession, who should have set the Iron Throne after King Aerys died?
Rhaegar.
There we go. That's the hypocrisy in Ned Stark, in my opinion. That's bullshit. He didn't believe, because who was he fighting for? King Robert Baratheon. They came from the Reach, or
Right.
the was it the Reach?
Hold on. Let's discuss. Let's finish this real quick because I like this this topic that you just brought up. I got some interesting things I want to say about it.
Good.
But it's gonna dip right into the spoiler section if I get to talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, okay. Well, don't go too far. Then cut me off, and then we'll go next, and then get there.
All right. Let's just finish this scene real quick. I need to get a charge. That's what I need to do.
Right. We were speaking about King Renly. I mean, Lord Renly speaking about King Robert, and then taking Joffrey into custody, the Queen into custody, and her children into custody, and taking the Iron Throne. He who controls the king controls the Iron Throne. And Ned said, no, Stannis is the one. Renly said, I should be the one. And then it goes from there, right?
Yeah.
That's where Ned writes a note to Stannis, and he gives it to one of his guards, not the king's guards, but one of his guards and one of his house guards, and says, don't deliver it to anybody but Stannis himself.
Exactly.
And next we have King Littlefinger, not King, but Peter Baelish, Lord Baelish, calling Ned my Lord Protector. Ned tells Littlefinger about King Robert's kids not being his, and that they're being Jamie Lannister, incest, bastards, and the crown should pass to Stannis. Littlefinger tries to advise Ned to give the throne and the crown to Joffrey, and then make peace with the Lannisters based on the Stark Lannister drama that's been happening because of Tyrion and and the drama and the shit, and to use the bastard angle later on to
if
try to
need to use
deal, if need be, in order to challenge who should sit on the throne and get the Iron Crown. Who should sit on the Iron Throne and get the crown, right?
Exactly. Absolutely.
I did a lot of reading because this one was something. This was one of this like 7 pages of notes for me. This one was so much detail that I wanted to read a lot more than I have in every other episode, because I didn't want to be wrong and then you not catch it, and then we just move past it and then not getting to the the real bits
So,
of
somebody in the comments gonna catch it. They'll tell us if
I'm
we wrong.
sure.
They
And
love telling
again,
people when they wrong. You know that.
what do you tell them all the time? We don't got no
We
problem with you.
accept it. We
We
accept it. Let
we
us know we
want you to
wrong.
correct us. We need you
Absolutely.
to tell us where we wrong because you watched it like we watched it. We want that, right? But we'll move forward,
Absolutely.
right? But at that point, that's where Ned was still trying to state to Littlefinger that the crown should pass to
Stannis.
Stannis, but Littlefinger was trying to get him to take it as the protector of the realm,
Right.
right?
Which he ultimately refused.
He twice.
Yeah.
I think Littlefinger and
And
Varys
Renly.
both, or Littlefinger and Renly
Yeah.
both posed that to him, and he shot it away because of the line of succession that he was so honorable and loyal about, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Um, Littlefinger actually requested that Ned Stark make peace with the Lannisters during that entire ordeal. So he didn't necessarily, he wasn't trying to initially start a war or conflict. And I think part of him wanting Ned to try to make peace, sue for peace with the Lannisters based on everything that's happened was because again of his love for Catelyn and his connection to Catelyn,
Mm-hmm.
right? From years ago.
And this is what we got. This is what we got that mixed up at right here. I'm sorry to cut you off. But after he refuses to do what Littlefinger says, he ultimately asks. Littlefinger says, "Okay, so what you want from me, man? Because you clearly ain't bring me here for my wisdom." Ned Stark tells him that he needs the City Watch, and the City Watch is vowed to keep the king's peace. So as Lord Protector of the realm, he thinking that with the City Watch he'll be able to overwhelm what remains of Cersei's household guard or whatever, and then he'll be able to be in control. But
Mm-hmm.
and Littlefinger tells him that, okay, well, if you need the City Watch, who do they obey when the Queen proclaims one king and the hand of the king proclaims another?
Mm-hmm.
They
He said, "Who
they
will follow?"
who would they follow? The man who pays them, which is me.
There we go.
So exactly. So
And that
after that,
and
this
in
is
my mind, that leans towards the Lannisters, specifically Cersei.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yep.
And then
And if
and this is the scene that we got mixed up on. Well, at least I think I brought it up. I got us mixed up on it. This is the scene next when John and Sam and some of the men of the Night's Watch go north beyond the weirwood tree. I'm sorry, beyond the wall, and then they find the weirwood tree, and then they do their vows, and that's when Ghost finds the dismembered hand.
right, I think that what they did was technically about 15 minutes earlier in the episode, John and Sam leave the wall
Exactly.
in Castle Black, and then they make their oath, and the backside of that scene is what we're seeing now. I
Exactly.
think both of us already know what's going to happen, so when we watching it and if we take
We
notes,
just got it mixed
we're
up.
writing, oh, this happened, so this happened, and this happened, and this
Exactly.
happened, but we're not there yet technically in the actual
In the actual
chronological
story.
order.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're right. We're at the point where John and Sam exit the wall to make their vows at the weirwood tree, and others witness their vows. And it was, I will take no lands, no titles, bear no children. I will be the shield that guards the realm from this night to all nights to come. And that's when Ghost brings them the hand.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, that's when we get the wine merchant being questioned,
Yeah. He
and he
sitting there
speaks on,
tied to a post.
that's part two of it, where he speaks on King Robert wanting Daenerys dead since they heard of Viserys's death.
Yeah.
And Jorah reminds Daenerys that her army is a threat to them. And Rhaenyra and Drogon enter to speak to the wine merchant. Drogo inquired to Dan if Danny is hurt. That's when he touched her belly and he's
Mm-hmm.
like concerned. They fell in love. They are
Yeah.
a union at this point. She's accepted
By
Dothraki
yeah, she's a
being the
Dothrakian now.
Khaleesi. Yeah, she's
Khaleesi.
accepted all of it, and he has accepted her into his life, is in his brain, in his heart, in everything. Their child is a boy, a son who will is the stallion that will mount the world. That's
Absolutely.
their thought, their prophecy on this entire marriage and their bond that they have, right?
And within this scene specifically, Drogo, he actually says that he's gonna give a gift to Daenerys, which is
Mm-hmm.
he plans to pretty much go back and take Westeros for her and have her and have their son, which is the stallion that would mount the world, sit up on that iron chair that
Mm-hmm.
her father used to sit up on. He said he gonna kill the men in their iron suits. He gonna tear down all their stone houses and then this is this is one of them scenes with Atone, man. This is one of them scenes where you see somebody. This was like where okay, I'm sorry to cut this whole thing off, but I have to bring this comparison up. You remember in Barbershop when they had the Black Panther scene and Cedric the Entertainer was in the barbershop and my man was in there, we gonna kill everybody. We gonna
Yeah, and he
everybody
was
gonna
like,
die. And then look, you hear
"Oh,
Carl Drogo in there talking about we gonna rape all they women and everything. I'm like,
and we
hold
gonna
on.
take their cities, and we gonna kill all of them."
I'm like, hold on, Drogo. You gotta relax.
That's that's the same
I
scene where
had to
he
bring
speaks.
that up, G.
He speaks on. I'm almost there. Recurring Drago entered to speak with the mind. Well, no,
The
nope.
wine
I'm
merchant.
already.
Wait, I'm sorry to cut us off, man. Yeah, no. So he pretty much saying that he's pledging to be the first cow that ever crossed the narrow sea. Uh, and
The Salt Sea. There we go.
yeah, the salt sea. That's what he said.
And then I heard that their son was gonna sit on the throne, and he was gonna give her the seven kingdoms, cross the Black Sea water,
Mm-hmm.
kill the men in the iron suits, tear down their stone houses, and Drogo, son of Bargo, swears to give Daenerys the family throne that she was deprived of. And that's when they get to the
The
wine merchant.
punishment. The
The
punishment for him,
punishment on the wine merchant. There we
which
go.
is pretty much him tied to a horse, butt naked, and having to walk behind the horse until he can't walk no more.
Right, no, yeah, they're naked and he behind the counter. He just walking. He getting drugged behind for the
The
most
whole
part. If he don't
Calisar,
keep
yeah.
up, it's a problem for him. And
It'll
then
be all right. I'm sure that horse is strong enough to drag.
yeah, definitely. I mean, he put himself in a position where his survival is just elongated. They could have killed him in that moment, an hour later, 2 days later. This looked like weeks later.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? So from there, we get Ned is summoned by King Joffrey. The royal steward summons Ned to King Joffrey. Littlefinger and Varys tell Ned that as he's approaching that you have the city watch. We have your
Well,
back. Right?
Littlefinger told him that, not Varys.
Littlefinger told him that, but as Ned
But
before
him and
he
Varys was together. They was all. It was the whole small council chamber that was
it,
supposed to be in discussing this.
technically, I mean, I don't know, was
But
Pycelle there? No, it
they
was
found out.
Barristan. It was Barristan, Selmy, Varys, and Littlefinger.
No, it was Littlefinger and Varys, and them was the only people left from the small council.
From the small council, because the only other ones was Pycelle. Yeah, and Renly. Renly was left.
Renly had left. He learned. Varys told him that he was seen riding off with some 50 retainers and Loras Tyrell as well, or something like that. And then they enter the throne room where Joffrey is sitting on the Iron Throne, surrounded by his King's Guard.
And that's when he announces that he is the protector of the realm. He orders that he be crowned within a fortnight.
Yep.
Ned gives Barristan Selmy the the final orders of King Robert.
King
Barristan
Robert
Selmy
seal
reads it
unbroken
unbroken.
with an
He
unbroken
reads the
seal.
order. Barristan Selmy reads the order, and Cersei requests the order, and she takes the order, looks at it, and does what?
I'll show you right now.
Like it didn't mean nothing. Do that to your birth certificate, your social security card, your high school diploma, or a $50 bill. That mean that it don't matter. It don't exist. So
Exactly.
the orders of King Robert didn't exist past what Cersei felt it should be. And Barristan Selmy said, but my queen, that's the king's orders. And she
Those are the
was
king's
like,
words.
the king
We
is
have a new
dead.
king now.
We have a new king now, and that king is Joffrey Baratheon, Cersei Lannister's son with her twin brother, incest bastard.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what we get from there. And then you hear Cersei. No, I'm sorry. You hear Joffrey give an order to all his guards, telling him to kill Ned Stark and kill his men. And that's when Sir Barristan was told to seize Ned Stark, and he was walking toward him. And Ned Stark told him, Sir Barristan is a good man, a loyal man. You will do him no harm. And that's when you see the City Watch immediately turn on Ned Stark and start killing all the men in his guard. And right when Ned Stark is about to pull his weapon, Peter Baelish grabs him from behind with a sword to his neck, telling him, I did warn you not to trust me. And that was the end of the scene, man. That was season 7. You know what I'm talking
Podcast
about?
is not responsible for ruining Game of Thrones for you.
And
Proceed with caution
this is the
at
stuff
your
here.
own risk.
Now we are about to talk about it all. God damn it!
That was a little early, my fault.
It's
The
all
timing was
good.
off,
It's
but it
all
worked.
good.
It worked.
It's all good. Shit. Hey, so yeah, man. You mentioned something about Ned Stark and his honor and the and he was a hypocrite.
I mean,
You said
I think he was a hypocrite because he would look at one thing and be loyal about, and another thing he would just say what's best for someone else, right? Being a hypocrite in the, I think man, you caught me on a, shit.
no.
I
You mentioned
recognize what
something.
you're saying,
No,
but
you
I don't
mentioned.
know
I'm gonna try
my
to remind you. I'm
argument.
gonna try to remind you. You mentioned something about uh if Ned Stark cared so much about the line of succession, why wasn't Rhaegar Targaryen?
That was it. You're
Why
right.
wasn't why wasn't Rhaegar Targaryen put on the Iron Throne after the Mad King was killed?
Exactly.
I don't think he was a hypocrite simply because if he going up against the Mad King, he going up against Rhaegar Targaryen too. Is he not?
Yeah, I guess, but I think
Man, that nigga rose up against House Targaryen. That nigga Rhaegar Targaryen is a part of House Targaryen. That's just like when Catelyn Stark snatched Tyrion Lannister. All the Lannisters had to fight.
But no, I think I'm sorry, my fault. I think the understanding that or the assumption that Rhaegar was like Aerys makes sense with that thought,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I
But if
mean,
he was
everybody say that Rhaegar Targaryen was like super loved and super noble and just this wonderful person and like
versus
this.
Aerys, this is
Exactly.
what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
what that I think that's part of why I thought my mind frame would be get rid of Aerys to elevate Rhaegar.
But you got to think about it. It was called Robert's Rebellion. Robert, the one that wanted to kill Rhaegar. And Robert and Ned,
because
he
he
took his
was
bitch.
because of some pussy, bro. This is what I'm saying. I
I
don't
mean,
think
shit.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest. If you tie what Tywin Lannister wanted versus, I mean, if you take what Tywin wanted, where Jaime Lannister already was slotted, being the in the Kingsguard, as well as Robert being influenced by Tywin. I think that's where you get the usurper Robert Baratheon. That's where you get King Robert Baratheon from. Robert Baratheon didn't want to be king. Why did Robert lead the rebellion? Where did that start?
Because
it started with
his bitch got took from him.
I don't think that was. I don't recall that being early on. I don't think that started the war.
Well, I mean, shit. What initially started the war was Brandon Stark and his father going down to King's Landing to they went down there for some shit.
Oh, they were summoned. They were summoned down there.
No. That's what happened. They it was all said. It was all mentioned that every motherfucker was saying that Rhaegar had kidnapped Lyanna.
That ain't what started Robert's rebellion, bro.
Yes, it is.
Is
yes,
it?
It is. Absolutely. If I'm and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and y'all can do so in the comments as well. But if I'm not mistaken, Lyanna was said to have been kidnapped by Rhaegar Targaryen, and that's why Brandon Stark and his father went down there to confront the Mad King about that situation, and that's when he burnt their ass up, and that's when Ned Stark joined the rebellion, because him and Robert was friends. They grew up together in the Vale.
Yep. After Lyanna Stark disappeared with Rhaegar Targaryen and the execution of Eddard's father Rickard and brother Brandon, King Aerys II called for Robert and Ned's heads, and Jon Arryn refused and began what is now called as Robert's Rebellion. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I love Google. This was 1992. We wouldn't even be able to finalize this argument. Nigga, it took us 4 Encyclopedia Britannicas to figure out what is what and what is not. Yeah, all right. That's what's up. I think this episode was a great episode.
This episode was the one right here, G. This was the
one before the one, because we're at 7. And I think we in spoiler alert. We got about a episode and a half left for Ned Stark, right?
9 is when Baelor.
9, because it's only 10.
And then look, if you think about
this is what I'm saying. We at 7, so we got 8 and half of 9 because it happened early.
Think about this too, Tone. Every episode 9 from season 1 to season 6, the coldest episodes of the series. Think about that. Just think about it. Every episode 9
from 1 through 6.
It's the coldest episodes of the series.
I'm gonna determine if I agree or disagree with that over the next couple weeks.
Please let me know, because I'm
gonna see. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna
tell you. I'm gonna tell you why they my favorite. Nigga, number 9 for season 1 is when Ned Stark get killed. Baelor. Number 2.
Okay.
Number 2, season 2. Episode 9. What the fuck is that?
The Red Wedding.
Red motherfucker. No. Season 3.
Red Wedding, like 6 or 8.
No, season 3 is the Red Wedding. But it's number 9.
Season 3, episode 6. So number 9 of season 2.
It's not the Red Wedding for that. That's what the fuck is that?
Hold on, give it a second. I'll look it up right now. Season 2, episode 9. I'm gonna go to IMDb. That works a little better. A little better.
I know
Game
that
of
it's
Thrones.
I'm sure of it. It's one of the coldest episodes in the series, if not the coldest.
Episode season 2,
Episode 9.
nine.
What's the name of it?
Blackwater.
The
The Battle of
Blackwater. Come on,
Blackwater
man.
Bay.
Come on, man.
The
Blackwater.
Battle of Blackwater
Nigga,
Bay.
stop playing.
You motherfucker. You right.
Nigga,
Okay. Let's move on. You can't just stand in glory too long because this is 6 more seasons you
All
talking
right,
about.
okay. I got a question for you.
Hey, you motherfucker. Season 3. You know what season 3 is?
The Red Wedding.
of Castamere.
The Reigns of Castamere, nigga.
The Reigns of Castamere.
And number 4, season 4.
You monkey ass, you fucker.
I'm telling you, G, every episode 9 and from
you
6.
motherfucker. Season 4, episode 9 is the Watchers of the Wall, where the fucking Night's Watch battle the wildlings. You dickhead. You fucking sucker fucker. All right. I don't like you. You heard. And did you come up with this on your own?
I did not. I can't take credit for it, but I had to.
All right.
I had to.
All right.
Like,
it's okay.
Once I saw it, I was like, God damn, every episode 9 was the coldest episode. Then
hold on.
Just guess what episode 9 is for season 6.
Hold on. Hold on, because I got this next one. Hold on, man. The next one.
First of its name podcast is not responsible for ruining Game of Thrones for you. Proceed with caution at your own risk.
All right, so now we at season 5, episode 9.
Cold.
It's called The Dance of the Dragons.
Come on, man. That's when Marine and all the motherfuckers from Slavers Bay came to.
This is that. And then you said 1 through 6. So season 7, episode 6, you sucker fucker ass joker, the Battle of the Bastards. I don't know how you figured that out. I don't know how you did it.
I saw it somewhere, and I was like, damn, that is true. But I ain't gonna lie to you, episode 10 in season 6, one of my coldest favorites too. The Winds of Winter. Oh my God, forget about it.
Yep. But you said specifically episodes, season 1 through 6, episodes 9. That's why I went through all. The last one was the Battle of the Bastards, which was one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones ever.
The best. Probably
if
the
not
best.
the best. Top 3, top 2 maybe. But other than the long night, but
the long night.
I didn't understand that connection that you made until I just went through seasons 1 through 9, season 1 through 6, episode 9.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't do nothing but agree with that. If you like,
I can't do nothing but agree with that. I won't do nothing but agree with that.
Exactly.
It is what it is. You dig?
Nigga. And then bro, I be asking people like people that I know are real fans. Like the girl I was telling you about from the Laugh Factory, she's like a real fan. So I be asking people like, what? Give me like your favorite song from the Game of Thrones series. Like my favorite song is The Reigns of Castamere.
I didn't realize that I had a favorite song other than the
intro song.
Credit song versus That's not even that's my favorite is Reigns of Castamere.
Reigns of Castamere is my favorite easily. And then I like the Bear and the Maiden Fair. That one was decent.
That was good, but what was the one that remember when Joffrey summoned the dude and he sung a song about Joffrey being a bastard in front of him?
That
one
about when he cut Buddy's tongue out.
He cut his tongue out. That one, It ain't my favorite because it sounded good and it was like I remember the words. It was my favorite because of what. Yeah, that was my favorite because of the way Joffrey approached it.
He said, "A lion took his balls."
He barely wanted to sing that, but he knew that was his demise. It didn't matter.
He was finished after that. He was finished as he was singing. As he was singing, sitting there playing that little thing, he was finished. He
was clenched. He was clenched up.
All right. I got a question for you.
All right.
It's a very simple question, but it's difficult to answer if you just like, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't really, I don't know. If you because it's easy to answer. If you're not thinking about it, it'll come right to you. But once you get to you ever had it, like once
Of
you get to thinking
course.
about something, okay, give me all the names and who's the Lord of them. Give me all seven kingdoms and who's the Lord of all seven kingdoms. Who's the lords of
Oh,
these
bro.
kingdoms?
This is like level 4. You presented this like it was just a run of the mill joint. Okay, I'm gonna try. Damn, you put me on the spot, and we live. We literally recording this now. So
All right,
you
just give
want?
me whoever you know.
I'm gonna start with this: the seven kingdoms.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay when I name just the areas or the kingdoms of the kingdom.
Well, it
So
gotta be the kingdom. That's a
the
kingdom.
north,
That's a
that's a
kingdom.
kingdom. Okay.
Absolutely.
The reach,
That's a kingdom.
the Riverlands,
That's a kingdom.
the Iron Islands.
No.
Ah, that one don't count because of the rebellion. That's how they got Theon later on after Robert took the crown. Okay, all right. So help me again. The three that you name it, I forgot already.
The three you
The
already got is the north,
Riverlands,
the reach, and
the
the
north,
riverlands.
the reach, the
And the
north, the
riverlands.
Riverlands.
Them the three you got already. And we just mentioned one earlier when we was in the when we was talking about his far south.
Dorne.
That's four. Now you got three more.
The Iron Islands don't count. Okay,
Nope.
so okay. Dorne, the reach, the north,
The riverlands.
the Riverlands. There, thank you. Riverlands, the north, the reach, Dorne.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's another place that's impregnable.
Harrenhal.
Mm-mm.
Impregnable. Oh, the Erie, the Vale. Erie,
The
the Vale.
veil.
Erie, the Vale.
The
It's the
veil.
same thing to me. I always get confused. So
No,
I'm
it's
at
the same. It's the same. The
it's the same
veil is just
place.
the
Yeah.
name of the kingdom. I think the area is like a
The,
city within it.
the city, the area, location. Okay. So Erie. I keep trying to start over
You got
just to try to
six. You
help
only got
myself.
one more. You
I
got
got
the north.
six.
You
Did
got
I get
six.
six? I got the north.
No,
I
I'm
got the
sorry. You
Vale.
got five, brother.
I
I'm
got
sorry.
five.
You
Okay.
got five.
The north, the Vale,
The north, the
the
veil,
reach,
the
the
reach,
Riverlands,
the
and
riverlands,
Dorne.
and Dorne.
Okay. Oh, you looking at a list. I can tell you look at you fucking fucker. Hold on. This all Westeros, right?
Absolutely.
Not the Iron Islands. It's some way. It's not the water. It's a water, but it ain't north like that.
You very close, brother. It's very much water. Think about this.
Oh, Corliss and them Valerian niggas. Not the Salt Sea. What is they called? House.
It ain't Driftmark. Driftmark ain't in Game of
It's
Thrones.
not. Okay. Thank
It
you.
ain't in Game of
Because
Thrones.
I'd have kept going trying to think of them.
But it has something to do with water for sure. Think about this. Where did Lucerys Valerian have to go before he was killed by Vhagar?
Oh man, that's what Avid. Because they rejected him. What was not the veil, not the red keep. It's something. It's like I lose sight of a lot of them. Hold
The
on.
Red Keep is a place that's within King's Landing.
Yes, like Flea Bottom.
That's a city in King's Landing. Because King's Landing is the capital.
I got 4 on my own, and you gave me 1. I'm 5 out of 7
All right,
now.
I'm gonna help you out.
Help me out.
I'll tell you who the lords of one of these places is.
I should get it right here.
The lords are the Baratheons.
That ain't the Reach.
Mm-mm. The Reach is the Tyrells.
Tyrells, yeah. The Baratheons is Storm's End.
There you go.
Um,
The Stormlands. There you
the
go.
Stormlands. That's the area. Okay.
Now you
So
got
that's
one
6.
more. I'm not helping you at
Don't
all.
give me. No.
I can't help you with this one because if I give you any type of hint, you're gonna get it
I
immediately.
get it. Okay. All right. Give me 30, 60 seconds. Give me 30 seconds. 45 seconds. Hold on. Storm's End, the Reach, Riverlands, Dorne, the North. God damn it. If I can't remember the 5th one, I can't remember the 7th one.
I give you the ones you got already. The North, the Vale,
Dude, okay.
the Riverlands,
The Vale.
the North, the
Start
Vale,
over.
the
My bad.
Riverlands.
Start over.
Okay. The North, the Vale, the Riverlands, the Reach, Dorne, and you just got Stormland.
Yeah, Stormland.
And this is the last one. You got one more. Think about all the ones you got, and think about all the houses that go along with them. So you know the North is the Starks. You know the Reach
So we
is
going
the Tyrells.
south, east, southwest, south.
What name are you missing?
The Tullys is Riverlands, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm thinking, I thought I was missing some Catlin or the, what was his name? The Silverfish or the Great Fish? What was that nigga name?
Blackfish.
The Blackfish, him. I thought I was missing him, but I can't be if I got them covered with the Riverlands.
Exactly.
Who
was the Lords of the Vale? The boy who Aerys Targaryen, the Mad King, the man who Aerys Targaryen, the Mad King, summoned and told him to deliver him Robert Baratheon and Ned Stark.
Where them Lannisters from?
There you go. There you go. That ain't go. How you forget?
Always losing because they so connected to King's Landing. I tie all Lannisters to King's Landing. King's Landing somehow. Not the Reach, not the Vale.
Where does Tywin Lannister want Jaime Lannister to go back to so bad? What did Tyrion Lannister ask for as his birthright?
My gosh!
Since Jaime Lannister can't inherit no more lands because of his vow that he swore as a knight, as a Kingsguard, everything passes to Tyrion. So what does Tyrion get right after?
Not the Vale, not the Keep, not the fucking. What is it, bro? Just give what is it?
Casterly Rock.
Casterly Rock. Oh my God! I always tie the Lannisters to King's Landing, bro. Yeah. For some reason, I always forget about Casterly Rock.
Yeah, man.
Because nobody, they've never had, other than Tywin and Jaime's conversation about Jaime going back to Casterly Rock and being Lord in order to save Tyrion. That was the really only thoughts of it. They mentioned it here and there.
They only showed it one time in the whole series.
Nobody ever tried to battle and take Casterly Rock.
No.
Every other Winterfell, the Red Keep, Harrenhal, the Riverlands, everything else was battled for. We never seen nothing where somebody tried to take Casterly Rock.
Yeah, that's true.
Not in Game of Thrones. I mean, in House of Dragon, it's a different approach. But in Game of Thrones, nobody was trying to challenge, even so much that Tywin was trying to get Jaime to go back and be like, all right, I'll save Tyrion.
After Tywin died, that's when somebody was trying to challenge, because nobody tried anything when Tywin was alive. Nobody.
They wouldn't dare. Nobody would dare. He was too strong. He was too powerful and rich.
You can tell I was gonna say this earlier too. You can see the presence of him when they show him in the scene. Like you can see
Mm-hmm.
like his power that he got. You know what I'm saying? Because we already see Jamie as this all powerful motherfucker that's just he the king's guard, the one of the richest people in the land. Oh, but this the one that run it.
His
This the
daddy,
one.
that dude. Yeah.
That's the one right there.
Yeah.
So when he sing, Charles Dance did so amazing at his role in here. It's very convincing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so convincing. Like I remember reading something where it said that Charles Dance he after him and Peter Dinklage did scenes together, the way that Tywin Lannister treated Tyrion Lannister, Charles Dance said he sincerely apologized to Peter Dinklage after a lot of their
Because
scenes
of what he
together
had to
because of what he
actually
had to say
be.
to him
Yeah, I
and
saw
what he
that. I
had to
saw that.
yeah
Yeah, the Charles Dance being if the audience don't know the gentleman that played Tywin Lannister, the
yeah
father of Tyrion Lannister, based on
Peter Dinklage.
the Peter Dinklage, Tyrion, he had to he wanted to apologize for what he had to accept as the character and portray to this other individual, this other human, and he really he apologized and he had to let
I
him
mean
know the words that he had to speak to him was so messed up and so
yeah
degrading and demeaning and denigrating that was what it turned out to be, and that's a good person, you know.
yeah it is, man. And I remember I can understand uh why he would want to apologize because man, after seeing some of them scenes, you just feel so sad for Tyrion, man. You just like, oh my goodness, how's you treating your son like this? I remember when he was telling him he wanted his rights to Casterly Rock. He
Mm-hmm.
I would let myself be consumed by maggots
Maggots before
before
I
I name
allow
you
you to,
come on,
yeah.
man.
But then think about this as well. Tyrion saved everybody in the Battle of Blackwater Bay.
Absolutely.
And then Tywin told him when Tyrion brought it to him that, oh man, I saved everybody. I should be glorified. I should be celebrated. Tyrion or Tywin told him, oh, Lannister doesn't stand on laurels and all blah blah blah.
No,
But
he
then he
told his
turned
ass jugglers and dancers require applaud. You're a
yeah.
Lannister. What is you
But then
talking about?
that
But the way
same guy
that
that said that, I mean, he imposed for Joffrey to make Tywin the savior of the realm.
the
You
savior of the
remember
city.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
The savior of the
He
city.
named him the savior of the city. Yeah.
Tywin told Joffrey to do that.
Did he?
Yes.
Oh damn, I ain't even know that.
Yes.
I ain't
Yes.
even
It
know
was
that.
like a 12-second conversation, bro.
Okay, okay. I
That
gotta go
happened
back and see that.
before or after the Battle of Blackwater Bay.
Okay,
Yep.
okay,
I'm telling you. Once
okay.
Tywin got back to King's Landing and before he started boning Shay and doing all that nonsense, he deserved to die. I know. Kill him on the shitter. We in the spoiler alert. Remember,
Oh
killing him
yeah,
on
no
the
doubt.
shitter. That was just ironic more than anything. That was like telling the motherfucker you don't value them more than a turd. You know what I mean? Like, you a piece of shit. You should die on the shitter. You get what I mean? That's what I took it
It
as.
was quite a statement. I tell you that
Yes, indeedy.
it was quite a statement. Shit. And then, man, you already answered one of my other questions that I had, which I was gonna ask you what was the name of Cal Drogo's father, but you already mentioned it in the when we
Bargo.
was
Yeah,
Barbo when we was discussing
Barbo.
the you dig. But I had something else in here, man. I
You
had
just be
something
random
else.
in the notes.
Yeah, no, I just be like having random ass questions in here. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you where Littlefinger was from, but we already mentioned that too.
Yeah, I think we went like 2 episodes ago. We mentioned that,
We
or you
did, didn't
clarified
we? We
for
did.
us because I didn't remember that was the history of Littlefinger, Peter Baelish, but we already got that. You know, if y'all want to know the answer, then find that shit in episode 1 or 2.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. When Ser Jorah said, "Do you know how Aegon Targaryen conquered the six kingdoms?" And you remember you said
Yeah.
remember you said you noticed that, but it's
Uh-huh.
seven kingdoms. You know what I'm saying? Which kingdom did he not conquer?
When he came from after the doom of Valeria, right?
After the doom of Valyria, when
It was
Aegon
the
made his
north. It was either the north or the reach. Them was the only places that the dragons couldn't get to, right?
nope,
Unless you're talking about far south in Dorne.
that's exactly
Yeah,
it.
Dorne. You right. You right. Yep. Dorne was the only kingdom initially that wasn't part of the seven kingdoms, and they stood alone. I forget why. It was some small reason. It was some like political.
No,
Somebody was
they
in
just
love with somebody or
mm-mm.
family or some shit.
No. Every other motherfucker in the kingdom was able to get touched by them dragons. The Dornish, the only people that
Right.
was able to evade the dragons. Just like think about
They
this,
was the furthest south and the furthest tropical.
and think about this. Think about this. It wasn't that the dragons wasn't able to go there. They was able to go there. They just wasn't able to get to the army. Because think about this. You remember in House of the Dragon when they was fighting in the Stepstones?
Uh-huh.
You remember every time the dragon to come back, every motherfucker will run back in the cave.
And it wasn't no way that
It
the
wasn't
dragon
no way
fire
that the
could
dragon
affect
could
them.
do
You
nothing.
right.
That's
Yep.
exactly what was going on in Dorne. That was it.
That's
And
why Dorne allowing themselves to become part of the Seven Kingdoms was easier for the Iron Throne and whoever set the Iron Throne versus battling and fighting. You're right.
exactly, exactly.
Because at
And
that time, the dragons couldn't get to them and they were able to withstand a ground army
exactly.
differently
That's the
than
thing.
Game of Thrones.
They army was gonna be depleted before that motherfucking dragon
Before the dragon could make
was able
action
to.
or make effect. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what I was like, damn. I had to pay attention in that scene. I was like, damn, he said six seasons. I mean, I'm six kingdoms, but it's seven kingdoms. Because when Robert Baratheon talking about it, I got seven kingdoms to look after, one king, seven kingdoms. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, but Aegon
I think what
Targaryen,
that exposed with Cregan Stark and Jacaerys, or was that before that? When did we find out that? When did we hear about the Seven Kingdoms? It had to be House of the Dragon. It couldn't be Game of Thrones, right?
what the
Unless
seven?
somebody explained it in Game of Thrones and then they showed it to us in
Well,
House of the Dragon.
well, I learned that in Game of Thrones, we learned that it was only six kingdoms because of that scene right there. Well, at least that's what I
Right.
just heard when I listened to Sir Jorah. I'm like, damn, he said six kingdoms. But throughout the first 3-4 episodes, even when he was hollering at when he was telling Ned Stark, he was like, I got seven kingdoms to look after, one king, seven kingdoms. But that's when we was like, okay, it's seven kingdoms. So when I heard Sir Jorah say when Aegon Targaryen conquered the six kingdoms of Westeros, I was like six, but it's seven. Which one didn't he conquer? But then we learned when Tywin is talking to Oberyn Martell that the Dornish was the only ones to be able to evade Aegon Targaryen
They
and his dragons.
technically made the seventh.
They made the seventh.
They made the seventh. Okay. You
The
got the
Dornish.
North, the Dorne, the Dorne. You got North Dorne, the
Vale,
the Vale,
the Reach,
the Reach,
Casterly Rock, and
Castle
the
Rock,
Riverlands.
the Riverlands. No, we missing one.
Stormlands.
Stormland. There we go.
The Stormlands.
There we
The
go.
Lord,
I
the
will remember
Lords.
it from now on.
Yeah, that's good to know. Shit, I was like, man, and then now we got to figure out. I mean, it ain't no lords over there, but the people in Bravos and shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, once we go to Essos, that changed everything. Essos, that changed the Pentos. Man,
Pentos,
that changed
Mir,
everything.
Volantis, and all this other shit.
Yep. It's a big difference from there to Westeros, but it's just as specific, especially this Arya journey. I think that leads us to understand a lot more of Bravos and Essos than we really understood or thought. Even after she left, we didn't realize a lot of things that tied to what eventually would connect her journey with the overall journey, even with all the way up to spoiler alert, killing the Night King. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's what's up. That's what's up,
Hey
bro.
man, I think we had an amazing episode today, brother. We had some great discussions. You know what I'm saying? Talk about some things in the spoiler section at length, and I feel like people gonna be able to, break down what we talked about and either correct us or be able to be like, "Damn, they cold." You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, you already know.
Hell yeah, man. This is a good one right here, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
So
that was episode. You got anything else to add?
no, I was just gonna say, let's go on and wrap it up, man.
Yep, we good. That was episode 7 of First of His Name podcast, based on You Win or You Die episode of Game of Thrones. I am your co-host, Tone Roy.
And I am your co-host, Lord Sheldon. Hey, and man,
That
that's what it
is Lord
is.
Sheldon of House Calhoun.
Oh yeah, Lord Sheldon of House Calhoun, uh, from the Holy City. Uh, yeah, and that's what it is, man.
And that's what it's gonna be. You already know.
Hey, we appreciate y'all, man. Y'all keep looking out for us, man. Keep subscribing. Hit that subscribe button. We got a lot more coming for y'all. I guarantee it. We got 7 more seasons to go.
Right. You already know. But appreciate y'all tuning in. And we gonna see y'all on the flip side next week in the next episode. Peace.